Alright, so I showed you how we're going to cut this and make good topology, but what I didn't show you was why. So let's go ahead and just look at this and hit 3. So this is before we did any kind of cutting or anything like that. Actually, it looks like there's a extra face hidden right there. So if we hit 3, you can see, you know, this is the shape. It doesn't hold here. Now you may want to curve like that because this is kind of like a nice little rounded L. We can do that over here as well. But if we come over to this one and we hit 3, you'll see all of the edges hold and it retains the shape. Now what's going to dictate how much of a bevel you get is how close these 3 points are. Okay, same thing here. So if you want this to be a little bit more loose, a little bit more round like this, you know, you could just easily take this, move it down further, take this, move that down further, and let's just hit 3 now. So you can see we're going to get a little bit more of a loop. But of course, we're not limited to that. You know, if you want to, you can go ahead and just, you know, you can start loosening it up like that. There's the other way too, is you can grab all 3 edges and you could either slide by holding Control and Shift, by sliding them back and forth. Sometimes see that doesn't always work well, but what does work better is the mesh tools slide edge, and you just middle mouse drag like so, and it'll start averaging between the 2 points. And so you can kind of see it's sort of like I'm just sort of middle mouse dragging back and forth a little bit, and then you start getting kind of like this averaged point look to it. And then now I'm going to adjust it just a little bit. You know, now we have this nice curve, and if I go ahead and hit 3 on my keyboard, we get this, but we get proper edge looping. See, so what is not proper edge looping is that I never want to see a point like this come to what I would call is like an edge that's going to be a 90-degree turn. Anytime that's like I'll call it a critical edge, that's what I usually refer to it as. Anytime you get to like a critical edge where it's going to turn, you don't want this happening here. So if we look at it, you can see what's going on. But if we go back to here and we look at this, and actually let's just step back a few steps here to where we were. So if we look at this, we turn, but we don't have like these edges coming to the point here. Okay, so that's a better edge flow. And eventually, you know, the idea behind this is, you know, this would be obviously like a 3D extruded shape. So I can either use my extrude tool, drag up like so, and then I'll go ahead and just use my cut tool. And we can, I like to always put a curve in the middle, and we can go ahead and just do something like this. I'm snapping them at this point. We don't have to, but you know, sometimes you might want it exact. So this, and then actually if you want to make it really precise and hold that 180-degree curve, you can put a curve in the middle there. And now we can sit there and hit 3, and we've got a nice look to this. It's a good edge flow, and it's good to go. So that's what we're basically like going forward. We're going to be working with more complex shapes, and sometimes, you know, we may have to make some adjustments. Like for instance, we could run into a situation where we want to do something like this. Let's say we don't have a good edge flow this way. We can just bring this through here and basically extend our termination edge down like that, and then extend this termination edge down like this. I'm not doing it completely. I'm just showing like as an example because I'm not going to go and do it on the bottom. You can mirror it anyway if you wanted to, but then you would remove this edge. So you have all quads like so. So you may have to do something like this if you need to balance out the topology a little bit or something like that. So we may get into those situations, but you know, for now, the thing that I originally showed you, like this something like this would typically work pretty good. And you'll start to see like there's like these pattern, you know, the same pattern over here. You know, you got these 3 holding edges that cut up and then they cross over, and then on the outer corners you get like kind of this, it looks almost like a cube shape right here, something like that. The same thing's going on right here. So you got that same 3, and then over here you get the little cube shape, and so just I'm pointing this out almost like in a childlike way, because you know these are the type of things that you're gonna want to keep seeing these sort of patterns happen, but you also will need to be flexible too, because there'll be times where we will, you won't have like such a simple exact piece like this, and you'll have to kind of roll with it and figure out good topology for it. So we'll get to those later, of course, but for now, this is the direction that we're going to be going with this. Okay, so one last little addendum here before we end is I did go ahead and kind of soften this out and curve it, but I just wanted to show you a good way to do that doesn't require guessing, and that is just to come in here and grab a curve and use it as a guide. So let's say you got to decide like what the radius is that you want, and you can come into here and you can go ahead and just put this like kind of tangent on here, and then you can basically balance based on this, so you can just have that there, and we can pull this out like so, kind of get it right where the center of this would be, and the center where this would be, where this hits tangent. Okay, and then we can go ahead and basically I can just go ahead and grab both of these, maybe pull that down a little bit like that, and so we're just trying to hit that section. If you want this to be dead center, you can come into mesh and average verts, and it'll start to curve with it a little bit more. Actually, I kind of liked it more where it was there. So now if I go ahead and grab this and I hit 3 on the keyboard, you can see like, yeah, this looks pretty good. That's a pretty solid turn. If you wanted exactly matching this, your guide, then you're gonna have to just make a few little adjustments. For instance, I may have to maybe pull this whole thing in a little bit like that, pull this up just a little bit like that, and pull this up a little bit like that or so, and then hit 3 and see. Yeah, so we're getting closer. So yeah, just little adjustments will get the shape that you want. So of course we usually build from references and stuff like that, so you might run into particular references where you're gonna have to figure out a way to hit that shape, and sometimes using a guide helps, and in fact I may do that a lot depending on the modeling I'm doing. All right, last part for this one. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.